What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I appreciate you checking in this episode. And today I've got another Q&A for you. And if you're noticing that I got no facial hair going on here, that's right. I had to shave it all off, unfortunately. And in a second, once we get into the Q&A, I'm going to have the beard. And then in part of the video, I'm not going to have the beard, so it might be a little bit weird. I did film everything on different days. I ran out of time the day that I was actually doing all the Instagram story questions and answers. So if it seems kind of funky because, part of it I have a beard and another part I don't have a beard or whatever, that's what's going on. All those questions came in on that same 24-hour period, but I wasn't able to get to all the answers then, so I had to go back and then record the answers when I had a chance. So I hope you get some value out of this episode, and these questions are valuable to you. They came from different people that follow me on Instagram, so if you want to be a part of one of these Q&As and live, then make sure to go over to my Instagram and give me a follow, because this all gets done in my stories. So I appreciate if you go over there and give me a follow, but I hope you enjoy today's episode. Jason Tackett05 asked, what is the most expensive fishing combo you own right now? So thanks for asking the question. The most expensive rod that I have right now is the 6 cents unicorn rod. They just came out. I had to get my hands on one. They retail for $300. The most expensive reel that I have is a Daiwa Tatula SV, and that retails for around $200. I don't have the most expensive equipment out there. I do have some Powell rods that retail in the 169 range and in the 140 range. Most of my reels are Corrados, which run around $179. So most of my rod and reel combos are going to run you around 300s, low 300s for sure. The 6 cents unicorn rod, if you pair it up with the Daiwa Tatula, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to, that would be a $500 combo. RJS Adventures asked, can you make training videos of how to work the baits, rod movements, things like that? Yes, I can definitely make some videos to show you how to work certain baits, how to move the rod, how to work the baits in particular, whether you want semi-slack line or something like that. In the meantime, I would definitely suggest you take a look at the videos I do have out and pay attention to what I am doing with the rod, even though I'm not necessarily explaining something, but just watch. By watching what I'm doing with the rod, you'll be able to see how to work some of these baits, whether I'm shaking it, whether I'm dragging it, whether I'm hopping it. Those are kind of the things that you're going to want to pay attention to. For some basic techniques on different finesse techniques, make sure to go check out my free online coaching program on my website and use the code FREECOACH. In that coaching program, I do have different on-the-water trainings where I am specifically telling you how to work different baits and how to fish different baits. Texas Bass Boy asked, what's your biggest goal? So my biggest goal is for sure to fish professionally at some point. That's the entire purpose behind doing all the social media and trying to put out this amount of content. My hope is that through fishing all these events, I can get a lot better at fishing and then start to compete at the highest levels I possibly can, and then eventually get on one of the tours if possible. And if something like that doesn't work out, my hope is that I can at least, figure out a way through social media, whether it's YouTube and Instagram and Facebook or whatever platform's popular at the time, and make a living that way. My preference is that it would be through tournament fishing, but if that didn't end up working out, I would definitely be satisfied figuring out a way to fish for a living through social media. Logan Wicker asked, ever use any Abu Garcia rod or reels? So in terms of Abu Garcia rods and reels, I've never used any of their rods. I have used their reels. My first ever bait caster was actually an Abu Garcia. I haven't fished an Abu Garcia reel in a long time. I bought a Revo STX years ago, and I ended up trading it for a Corrado E7 back in the day. I have nothing against Abu Garcia. I would fish their reels anytime, but I just have been using Daiwa and Shimano. But like I said, I got nothing against Abu Garcia. They make good reels. They make a good product. I've just been using Shimano and Daiwa as of late. But I have nothing bad to say about Abu Garcia, and I wouldn't sway anybody from buying their products. Welchie207 asked, what are the best baits to throw in the summer for big bass? Some of the best baits, in my opinion, to catch big bass in the summertime would be topwaters, a big jig, or a big worm. Those big worms are going to attract some of those bigger fish, and you're going to be able to work it slow and get them to bite. The big topwater is going to get those bass that are wanting to eat to come up and eat it. And that jig's going to work similar to that big worm. It's a big profile. It's a good meal for those fish, and they're most likely going to want to eat that jig. You just have to identify whether those quality fish are going to be up shallow and you can catch them on topwater, or if they're down deep on the points where you're going to use that big worm or that jig. Something else that you definitely want to keep in consideration is something like a deep diving crankbait or something like that. Jackson Mays 3 asked, do you have any molds for sale or possibly for free trying to start? So I don't have any molds for sale or for free that I can give away right now. I have pretty much what I need. I'm always trying to get more. There's some different plastics that I want to have and some other hard bait stuff too. One thing I can do to help you out is if you send me a message and let me know what you're kind of looking for, whether it's plastics molds or lead molds, I'll help you figure out where to go to get them cheapest. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope the questions were valuable to you and you learned something from today's episode. I really appreciate you watching. Please subscribe if you like the content, you like my stuff. I really appreciate if you subscribe. It really helps my channel and it really boosts everything and gets more people to be able to see my content. So please do that. Please subscribe. If you want to be on any of these Q&As in real time, make sure to go over to Instagram and give me a follow. But if you're listening onto the podcast, because I record a lot of this stuff and then put it out as a podcast as well. So if you're listening on the podcast, make sure to email me or send me a message somehow with your question so I could answer that and incorporate it into one of these Q&As somehow. Or if you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment on something you want to know the answer to, or maybe it's something that you have a follow-up question based on something that I said here in this video. So please subscribe. I really hope you enjoyed it and I appreciate you watching.